So we have another topic, the new one, who does what in organizations. 1.2 is relevant to element 1. Why should we manage health and safety at workplaces? So element 1.3 is all about who does what in organizations. So starting from the top management, then middle management and lower management. Again, kind of responsibilities in a broader perspective. Now, what are the responsibilities of employer? First of all, who is employer? The employer, a person or organization that employs people. The employer in this context is normally an organization, such as a company, and is sometimes referred to as the corporate body. They are a legal person. Now, what is the responsibility of the employer? Even though we have discussed in 1.2, but in 1.3 still a little bit more deeper, the responsibility for ensuring that the workplace is safe and free of health risks rests with the employer. As we noted earlier, this responsibility is made clear in ILO Convention C155 and ILO recommendations R164. Few more responsibilities. The employer carries ultimate responsibility for ensuring that the workplace is safe and free of health and safety risks. And also he's responsible to ensure the safety of workers and others like visitors and contractors. That is also he is ultimately responsible. And that is the reason Sadara, Saudi Aramco, SABEC, so the electricity, even Royal Commission, custom departments and several other ministries, even environmental ministry, all are focusing and putting us, as an employer in a huge responsible circle to make sure that our workers, our visitors, contractors, they are safe enough, because ultimately that is their responsibility. Like we as a contractor going within Aramco territory or coming to the Sadara. So first of all, your responsibility as an employer to give us induction, to give us right set of PPs, some rules and regulations, highlight all the prohibited areas or restricted areas. We are not authorized to go there without permit, And you are responsible to share how many muster points are there. You're responsible to tell us in case of emergency what we have to do, to whom we need to report, to whom we need to call. So all your site rules, you as an employer are responsible to, share with us. And then ultimately our responsibility is also to keep ourselves safe and follow the your site regulations or your company regulations related to safety. Now let's talk about directors and senior managers. Owner, that means the employer, and now we are talking about directors and senior managers. What are their responsibilities? First of all, give an organization its direction. That means they will make sure, a safety policy is there, some safety objectives, some sort of safety manual is implemented. And most importantly, safety is a framework, it's kind of a direction. Because in the safety policy you are writing, we will ensure, Sadara will ensure zero injuries, zero harm to the environment, zero violation to the legal laws. We will ensure to provide safe working environment to our employees. We'll make sure to give respect to the safety standards of our customers or to the legal obligations we are responsible to meet with. So what you are doing, you are giving a framework or kind of direction to your organization. And that is why you set accordingly your priorities, and your responsibility is also to provide resources. Here, I would love to mention one important triangle. Sometimes it's a terrible mistake. We give a lot of responsibilities to one gentleman, but no authorities. Like we give responsibilities, but authorities are very limited. And sometimes we give responsibilities, plus authorities, but no required resources. So this triangle have to be solid, you know, like responsibilities, authorities, and you also provide required resources. Then is equal to accountability. Then as a director or as a senior manager, you can't give any excuses because company have provided you the sufficient resources along with authorities as per your agreed responsibilities. So no, it's not a good thing as a professional to give excuses. So as a director and senior managers, you are responsible to allocate resources and appoint competent persons at the downgrade, the middle management, and allocate responsibilities, but make sure you provide required resources, like mentioned there, or responsible for ensuring that all of the legal requirements are met. So under managing director, you can have several directors. We call it top tier management. No, directors and senior managers can have enormous influence over their organization and its priorities. If a director is following and respecting safety regulations, wearing PPEs, chairing different safety meetings, getting involved, you know, in certain safety inspections or audits, a very positive trickle-down effect will be there because that director is kind of a excellent role model, mashallah. Now, the way they are perceived by those lower in the management hierarchy is very much important. They must demonstrate clear commitment and leadership with regard to health and safety. So if their priority, that safety is only a formality, then it's disaster because trickle-down effect from the top will be surely so negative at the ground level. So it all starts from the top, you know. Now, middle management and supervisors, middle managers and supervisors are involved in the day-to-day operational running of the organization. So are responsible for the health and safety standards within the operations under their control. So directors, they are giving direction and managers, they are executing. They are executing all plans, all directions. Directions means is equal to plans, procedures, policies. So we need managers, the implementers, who will make sure the things are being followed and no violations are there. And ultimately, managers require some supervisors to support them. And there are some shared responsibilities of joint occupiers of premises, because sometimes maybe in one building, two different companies are operating altogether. So in that scenario, what ILO is saying, especially ILO Convention 155, Article 17, ILO recommendation R164, recommendation number 11. What is talking about? Employers and shared facilities should communicate to develop appropriate health and safety standards and appropriate policies and procedures. So it's not like within the same facility. Even you should have coordination with your neighbor companies. If I'll be developing this material, I will surely write. It's not coordination within the company you have in your facility. Even you need to coordinate with your neighbor companies. And no harm to create a layout. How many neighbor companies you have, what they are producing, what are their safety managers, what are their contact numbers, how we can help to each other in case of fire, in case of any other, God forbid, you know, natural kind of emergencies. It's not like only within the facility, the other company you need to coordinate with. No harm to coordinate with neighbor companies, the neighbor projects, you know. And anyhow, within that company, what it should require according to the policies and procedures, this may include sharing of procedures, fire and emergency response, sharing of risk assessment, so you would have better understanding to each other, joint management committee meetings. Now, contractor management. If a client can be held responsible for injury caused by the contractor working for the client, then it must be in the client's own best interest to ensure that the contractor do not endanger workers or others. I gave you early morning, one example that Sadara's direct employees, their behavior, you will see, mashallah, the safest behavior, a unique culture, a culture leading by example. Now you see the behavior of your temporary or contractual employees. Hell of difference will be there. So that is the area where we truly need to focus. Sometimes it's not like our employees. We have to focus more on indirect employees. Like they are coming for 6 days, maybe for 2 weeks, or maybe for 1 month, because their focus is just to finish the projects as quick as possible and run away. It's enough and get money from Sadara, right? So make sure you are fully involved and focusing on them and have a solid contractor management system in place. Not only the pre-qualification system, during their work, how you are monitoring them. So what are the shared duties? The way that a client manages contractors can be broken into 3 key areas. First of all, selection of contractors. How are we going to select contractors? Planning and coordinating the work, and monitoring and managing the work. I'm sure your company is excellent in selection of contractors. You must have, and you might already have, the pre-qualification system and a very strong filters to make sure the right contractor for the right job. And accordingly, the planning and coordinating the work and monitoring and managing the work. So you as a customer also have some shared duties actually. Now, how are we going to select the contractors? What things matters a lot? What things we should check for selecting the contractor? First of all, make sure you verify their health and safety policy, their risk assessments, qualifications and training records, no harm to ask, membership of a professional organizations. Like in our case, you selected our Future Orient Training Center along with Best International. So what you will verify our international accreditations, our local accreditations, and then it would be more easier for you to select us. But still, it depends on the competence level of the trainers and plenty of other your indicators, what kind of training company you are going to hire and how the trainers profiles need to be make you satisfied before even you go for this training. So maintenance and equipment testing, several other companies are coming, like your fire safety system, you are maintaining through third party, your pest control management, third party, your catering companies, again, third party contractors, your rigging and lifting, some of the activities might be through third party, several kind of other activities, maybe excavation, maybe some construction projects. So mostly we are relying on contractors. So our contractor selection plan or kind of procedure must be solid enough. And the more better contractors you will hire, more better results you will get for your business, inshallah. That means more value addition, inshallah. So maintenance and equipment testing, previous or current clients, we can verify accident records, enforcement action, adequate resources. Double check they are solid enough to provide and have adequate resources to meet your project requirements. That is why sometimes we get, this insurance check even from the contractor, just to make sure if anything goes wrong, you can still reverse some money from my side. So it's project to project, sensitivities are there. Now, planning and coordination of the work, information to be shared between client and contractor. What information we can share as a client and contractor? Hazards posed by the site and work carried out. Hazards posed by the contractor's activities. That is why, like, if we get any project from Saudi Aramco, let's take any activities there. So what they're going to ask, share with us your HIP, hazard identification plan, the ERP, emergency response plan, then the work permit must be there. And we can't get work permit until we do a joint site inspection, until we have gas test results, the qualified people, that means their IDs, their valid IDs. And if it is rigging and lifting above 40 tons, several other requirements. If it is excavation, maybe pre-excavation checklist, plenty of other documentation we need to attach, then they will sign the permit. So that permit is also critically important, before even we start. So we are sharing responsibilities to each other. We are supporting to each other. And ultimate goal is zero accidents, zero injuries, zero harm to the environment. That is the real target, right? So hazards posed by the contractor's activities, risk assessments and method statement, we can get all those relevant to. So that would also highlight either the contractor is fully solid with the knowledge, with technical grounds. And sometime I noted contractor is more solid and knowledgeable even than the customers. Like might be the customer system, safety system is not good enough, but contractor system is much, much better than the customer. Let me share one, just I got in my mind, because I was involved directly into that discussion. So one of the company, I can't quote the name, we have confidentiality agreement. So that company, they hired me, just as a consultant to support their IMS integrated management system. So, but they put me under pressure with one statement. They mentioned is that, look, our system is much, much better than even Saudi Aramco GIs, Saudi Aramco policies and procedures. So why we should follow Saudi Aramco procedures? And you can still double check. Our system is more comprehensive, easy to understand, pictorial based, no lengthy stories and books. That was their comments actually. And to be very honest, it was kind of a very terrible pressure moment. What should I suggest to them? But anyhow, I still convinced them that look, Saudi Aramco have 82 years experience in oil and gas. And you are telling me that you will not get benefit from their experience through their standards and GIs and kind of policies. But on the other side, you are the only one more contractor for Saudi Aramco. And you are telling you will not follow their standards. You are much better than Saudi Aramco. Then try to make yourself a brand like Saudi Aramco. And all I made speechless. And then they realized we had meeting with company man like the Saudi Aramco officials. And we discussed, okay, we are going to incorporate your standards into our procedures. So let's create a win-win situation, rather than fighting, okay, we are the best, you are not the best. So let's avoid this blame shame game, So sometimes this is another challenge. Like the client system, the contractor is not respecting, or contractor believes I need fully support from the client because my system is not good enough. It's a very shared kind of responsibility. That is why planning and coordination required. Now, arrangements between the client and contractor include ensure activity don't conflict and permit to work system to control activities. So PTW system or permit to work system is critically important. Like in Saudi Aramco, we have WPR, work permit receiver, we have WPI, we have plenty of requirements, like CSE supervisor, authorized gas tester, if it's a hot work, the authorized fire watcher. So plenty of requirements as per the work permit. Without work permit, you can't even think to start your project. So the permit to work system is the best way to control your activities and ensure safety, inshallah. But still, ultimately, you require to monitor and managing the work. Client must, so you as a client have responsibility to monitor the work to ensure safety, and the client can stop the work if it involves unsafe practices. Auditing against agreed method statements is a good technique, but I always encourage have unannounced auditing. Don't announce, because unannounced auditing or unannounced safety inspections can, show you a better picture of that system actually. Otherwise, people are very clever. Companies are very clever. Like today, they have audit. Just yesterday or day before yesterday, within a couple of days, they will improve drastically everything. better housekeeping, everything is neat and clean, but just for the audit, for the sake of audit, to getting passing marks, in the audit. But later on, again, same conditions. So several brands, they already started second party audits on their behalf, unannounced. Just their auditors, they're going to come and start immediately. Either you are available, you are not available, someone definitely would be responsible, in each function of the business. So this is all about, let's discuss the summary of this element, why health and safety system have to be managed. We discuss, some of the keywords like health, safety, and welfare. We highlighted the main reason like moral, legal, and financial, why the organization have to manage health and safety, especially the moral, legal, and financial reasons. We discuss about some of the basic requirements as per international standards like ILO, International Labour Organization, Convention 155, and Recommendation R164. We also discuss the responsibilities of employer and workers, especially if they're non-compliance with the legal standards, how the possible issue could come in shape of worker compensation. We discuss the sources of information on national health and safety standards like HSC, gov.uk, OSHA, USA, OSHA, Europe, and some from Australia, and even ILO, WHO, and several others are there. We identified various parties within the outside of the workplace and their responsibilities, and they have, and also consider the responsibility that a client for the management of contractors. Just right now we discussed how we're going to manage, how we're going to select our contractors, what level of pre-qualification system must be implemented. And we also outlined some of the steps the client should take to choose a competent contractor and how he gonna plan and monitor their work. So inshallah, tomorrow, same time, we'll start element